Introducing yourself in the chat. Thank you for introducing yourself in the chat. We have asked everyone to stay muted. Please continue to stay muted. We have a lot of people on the line today, and so we're asking for all engagement to happen on the chat. We will open up the call towards the end when we go into breakout rooms so that you all may have conversations in the breakout rooms. But for now, good morning, good afternoon, and we are thrilled to have you here today. I would like to just introduce my colleague Denise, as they are the sponsor, the presenting sponsor on this event. So good morning, Denise Gredler. Would you like to say a couple words?
I sure would. Thank you, Jessica, and welcome everyone to our 9th annual Diversity Talk event. On behalf of the Best Company AZ team, we truly are honored to co-host this event in partnership with Career Connectors. And I want to take a moment just to thank Jessica, Joey, and Bree at Career Connectors for all their hard work pulling this virtual event together this morning. We so appreciate you. Just a little bit about Best Companies AZ. We are a regional employer branding and marketing firm that specializes in elevating and showcasing award-winning companies. And our passion and mission for 20 plus years now has always been to identify and celebrate the best and most admired companies, not only in our state, but across the nation. I know we have people coming in from all over. So you're in good company. All of the companies joining us today, Bree, if you go to the slide, they all have won prestigious awards from credible programs. And if you look along the bottom there, you'll see many of the companies today are a Great Place to Work certified. They won the Fortune 100 Best Companies list. They're best for millennials, best for parenting, best for diversity, best for LGBT, best for disability, and the list goes on. And worth noting, just last week, half of the companies with us were ranked the top 50 most admired companies here in Arizona. So we are really excited to be able to connect you to all these amazing companies. Joining me today on the chat, I have two members of our team, Carrie Trummel, our VP of Operations and Client Services, and Jenna DiMartino, our Talent Branding Specialist. So we invite you to connect with us. We'll be out in the chat, connecting with everyone. And our primary goal today is to help you advance your career with one of these amazing award-winning companies. So with that, Jessica, I'm going to turn it back over to you to introduce our amazing panelists, our hiring companies, and get this party started.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Denise. Again, good morning. Good morning. As you all are joining us, you will be coming into the call on mute, and we are going to reiterate that throughout the call today to please stay on mute. You will be able to unmute yourself at the end of the call, and I would like to go through a couple of the tech things. But as we're logging on this morning, I hope you're okay if we just take one little sidestep. And Matt, I'm requesting that we just take a moment of silence. There's some real tragic things going on in our world today. And I just wanted to come together, a moment of silence, especially at a program like this, a diversity event where we honor all people. And so if we could take a moment of silence to just reflect on this ongoing conflict and suffering that we're seeing in Israel and Palestine. And it's really, I just want to take a moment to honor those lives and the pain endured and the resilience of the people there affected by this crisis. And I want to pause for this silence and let us send our thoughts, our prayers for peace, understanding, and compassion to really prevail in this troubled region. Let us be a beacon of light in this time of darkness, and may it serve as a reminder of peace and unity that the past are what we must strive for, not just today and in this moment, but always. So please, can we just take a few seconds for a moment of silence? Thank you for honoring that. Thank you for doing that with me this morning. I really appreciate it. Okay, so moving on. Now we're going to talk some logistics of our event today, and then we're going to jump into our fantastic, wonderful event of all these wonderful speakers that are here to speak with you today. So first of all, if you have not ever been on a Zoom call like this before, or Zoom in general, I want to do some logistics stuff. So in the chat icon is on the bottom of your screen if you're calling in on a laptop. And you can see it, usually there's a drop down on your phone that you'll find the chat, but on the bottom of your screen, there's a chat icon. Please open that up. Thank you so much for all the chat that is going on there right now. I see you, we see you. Thank you, Tammy, Maria, Sarah, Samuel, thank you. Good morning. Welcome. Please introduce yourself on the chat if you have not had a chance to. As far as display goes, oh, and we're going to ask that all questions run through the chat. So if you have questions today while our speakers are speaking anytime during the event, we have moderators answering questions in the chat. We have Jeff McGee on the call. He is a DEI expert in the space of culture and corporate culture. He is answering questions. So if you see a response from him, know that that's legit. He is part of the program. There's Best Companies AZ has a team, Career Connectors has a team, and then all of the companies will be participating in the chat as well. So please drop your questions in the chat today. We'd love to hear from you. As far as display goes, the display, you're going to be seeing two different displays today. First of all, we're going to have a panel, and you will see the speakers of the panel will be featured on your screen. So you won't see a presentation, you will see the speakers on the screen. Then we'll move into a time where there are some presentations, and you're going to want to see the PowerPoint. So the best display for the call today is if you go up to your view option, which is if you're on a computer, a laptop or a computer, is in the top right of your screen, and you will see side-by-side speaker view. That view is going to give you the PowerPoint that's being shown, and then also the person that's speaking. So that's typically the best view for the call and what you're going to want to utilize today. Now, at the end of the call, we're going to have breakout rooms. Breakout rooms are going to be your chance to talk to any of the speakers, any of the companies. So say you see a couple companies that you're like, hey, I never thought about Mobile Mini before. I would love to, well, WillScot Mobile Mini, I'd love to work for them. What about Dignity Health or Common Spirit Health? I'd love to work for them, or I'd love to ask some questions. Great. You're going to be able to go speak with some recruiters and hiring managers right in the breakout room. So you'll be able to speak directly to them at that time. So hold on for that portion of the call. Just a little bit about Career Connectors, you guys. We are all about building strong communities. And so we do it through careers, one career at a time, bringing you hope, bringing you resources, bringing you connections to employers. That's why we're here. We've been doing this for 14 years, and we're just so incredibly grateful that you have entrusted us here and you're here today to be part of it. And so that's what we're all about. We've partnered with Best Companies AC for 14 years, and we are just honored to be able to do this work with them. Now, if you are interested in closed captioning, that is going to be on the bottom of your screen. On Zoom, there is a little icon that says show captions. Click that icon, and then it will be closed captioning. Couple other things. We are recording this call today. And so you will be able to, if you missed some stuff, if you didn't get all the notes down, you will be able to go back and review this call later and watch it again. All of our previous virtual events are on the Career Connectors website. This one will also be linked through the Best Companies website. You will be able to go see, Kathleen just dropped in the chat the recorded webinars that we've had previously. You will be able to see it. We do not send the PowerPoint out, but you can go back and see the recording at a later time. That you will get an email after this call with all of the resources, with links to all the hiring companies, and with a link directly to this call so you can watch it back. All right. So the next slide here is our agenda for the day. The first part of the call, the first half of the call is going to be a panel. You are going to hear a panel discussion hosted by Robin Reed. He is going to facilitate our panel today. And then you are going to hear from 4 companies, most admired companies. They are rated some of the best companies to work for. And you're going to hear about the different kind of diversity and inclusion programs that they have. You're going to hear how work life and how they manage that. And you're going to hear a great panel discussion and some fantastic job opportunities. And then after the panel, we will move into a time of quick conversations and discussions from each of these hiring companies, where they're going to get a few moments to share their company culture, their hiring, their jobs that they're hiring for. And so that will be the second half of our talk. And then the last hour is breakout sessions. And that was what I was explaining a few minutes ago. You will be able to go into various breakout rooms with all of the speakers, talk to them, and you can jump around. And so those will open up for the last hour of the call, and then we'll close out at 11:30. So again, thank you all for being here. And the way we're going to start this morning is I'm going to introduce you all to Robin Reed, and then he is going to come on and he will be facilitating the panel. So Robin, we are so thrilled to have him. He is the co-founder and principal with Mfluent. It's a corporate coaching and consulting company that focuses on strategy execution, workforce optimization, and helping organizations create a culture of excellence. In his role as an executive coach, he works with C-suite executives and leadership teams for nationally and globally recognized companies to help them achieve personal and professional growth. He's also a recognized professional speaker and has spoken internationally and internationally on business development, DEI, workforce strategy, and optimization. And as a recognized community leader, Robin is also the president and CEO of the Black Chamber of Arizona. Working closely with an outstanding board of directors, Robin has transformed the Black Chamber of Arizona into an inclusive and forward-thinking community organization that prides itself on collaboration and delivering quality tools and information to its members, businesses, to foster growth and development of companies. He is also the producer and co-host of It Happens at STN, which I encourage you all to watch, and we will be including that link in the email as well. So Robin, we are honored to have you here today. Thank you for moderating our panel. Welcome.
Jessica, thank you so much. As you mentioned, I'm a professional speaker, and if I ever got an intro like that in a live audience, I would come running onto stage, but I don't know how to do that in a Zoom environment, but thank you very much for that. And yes, so this topic is obviously very important to me because all aspects of my professional life touch on diversity, equity, inclusion, and please understand that when I say DEI, I'm including JAB, justice, access, and belonging. So I just use that as a collective term for all of the things, but I understand it's a much bigger topic than just DEI. I am beyond thrilled to moderate this panel today. As I say, I do a lot of work in this area, but I'm so excited when I can learn from others that are also excelling in this area. So thrilled to bring this panel out, ask some very direct questions, and then learn about how they approach DEI within their organizations, as well as, and this is probably the more exciting part for many of you, learning what opportunities they currently have within their organizations. You know, we're hearing a lot about the job market, but there are great companies that are hiring great people, and you're going to learn about some of those opportunities today. So thrilled. I know we have a national audience. I've been watching the chat and can't be more excited than I am in seeing people from all over the country joining in. I don't know if we have anyone from outside of the country, but I do know that we had 1,000 registrants for this event. And so this is going to be something big. So let's get started. What I would like to do is go through, and Jessica, if you can bring up the previous slide so I make sure that I properly pronounce all of our panelists' names. I would like to have our panelists introduce themselves, and then we'll get started with our panel discussion questions. There we go. So we'll start with Yemi Akasanya with Axon. If you would introduce yourself, sir.
Brilliant. Thank you, Robin. Jessica, thank you as well. Your energy is piercing. I am pumped up, ready to go. Hi to my very BFF, Denise with Best Companies AZ. Yemi Akisanya, Vice President of JEDI, not Star Wars Jedi, but Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. Robin, I feel seen when you made sure to mention justice and access and belonging, so thank you for that. I'm thrilled to be here and looking forward to sharing and learning.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Let's go with Desmond L. Jackson. Desmond, nice to see you right side up. Are you muted, possibly? Okay, while we're waiting on Desmond, let's move forward to Henri Dawes with Achieve.
Good morning. My name is Henri Dawes, and my pronouns are she and her. And thank you for inviting me to participate in this panel today. I've worked for Achieve for, it'll be 7 years, the 17th of this month. I'm really passionate about DE&I. This is a new area by title for me. My background is more the learning and development, where we made it a priority to make sure that every individual felt seen, heard, and valued in the training and the learning. So being able to now broaden my base and support, achieve at this wider range and this wider level is exciting for me. And then the last thing I want to say is, when I talk about diversity, I want to say I'm a New Yorker, I'm a Southerner, and I'm an LA girl. So I don't think you can get any more diverse than that.
And Henri, those are those your headquarters there just off the 202?
Yeah, the 101 and the 202. Absolutely. Yep, those two buildings.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful.
You
Very
can come
impressive.
by anytime. We have a great lunch here.
Wonderful. I will make a point of doing that. It's a very impressive office space.
Thank you.
Desmond, have you been able to join us?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. Desmond Jackson, very privileged to be here with this very esteemed panel and with Career Connectors as well as Best Companies AZ. Been based in Dallas, Texas. I saw a few Texas residents and also originally from Detroit, Michigan. So here with Workiva, serving as our diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging business partner, and excited to participate today. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. It's great to have you. And Braden Marish with Voya. And of course, Braden, I understand your industry. I'm a former financial advisor for several years. So I understand how important it is for strong DEI initiatives within the financial services industry. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
You read my mind. I'm excited to get into that today. There's a few exciting ways where DEI has since bridged into sort of financial wellness, which is really core to who we are as a company, not just in how we treat our employees and around DEI, but also the way we serve our clients. So we're in new territory that I'm pretty excited to be in. So my name is Braden Marish with Voya Financial. I am VP of Stakeholder Equity and Impact, leading employee engagement for the company, a few different DEI initiatives and some cause marketing initiatives. I'm also the advisor to our LGBTQ and allies employee resource group. We call them councils here at Voya, and then vice president of our foundation, leading equity strategy and implementation and day-to-day of our largest STEM and financial literacy partnerships in K-12 nationwide. I've been with the company for 11 years, started out as a wee intern in 2012, I believe, and been here ever since. I am a New Yorker, but I'm also bi-coastal, was born and raised in San Francisco. And then, you know, I would say that I work to live. So outside of work, I am also a proud husband, a cat dad, a new Rottweiler dad, which is new territory for me. And I also serve on the board of Medgar Evers College in Brooklyn, which is one of only two predominantly Black institutions in New York State.
Wonderful, Braden. Thank you. And I should have known I'd like you. I'm born and raised in the Bay Area, born in Berkeley, raised in Oakland, spent much of my financial services life in the San Francisco financial district. So yeah, I know the difference the Bay Area brings to the way we view the world. Okay, I want to jump right in. We've got a bit of time. We've got about 40 minutes. So the format I'm going to follow is everyone is going to answer each question instead of having targeted questions. This first one is a two-part question. I'm going to start with Henri. So here's the question, two-part. Do you think that DEI has progressed in the last 5 years? And has your view or approach toward DEI changed in that time?
Yes, I do think it has progressed or changed in the last 5 years. There are several areas that come to mind, and I think the representation and leadership and decision making. Many organizations realize the importance of diversity in their leadership, and the deliberate efforts that organizations make now to include that in their executive teams and boards. And I think a lot of companies have gotten more purposeful about adding diversity to their boards. I'm also going to push back and say some of that, I don't know if they understand the full impact of having that diversity on their board. They just knew it was the right thing to do, and they may evolve better into understanding what that diversity is going to do. The other thing couple other things that have changed have been the expectation, the readouts, I call them. How are you measuring that diversity? What does that diversity look like? How is it How do people feel that they have a voice within their organization? And I think now employees don't just want to see that diversity, they want to hear it. They want to make sure that leaders are speaking out for and against things that are counterproductive, that are happening around the world. I think when you heard Jessica just start out today, those are the kind of things that are really impactful for employees to know my company's in tune to what's happening in the world. I think there's also an increased awareness and accountability and training over the past few years. For example, my area responsible for training, we focused a lot more on the unconscious bias, the bullying, and that systematic inequality that happens. Contrary to that, I think that there's been some backlash in the past few years. And I think that that backlash has been from groups who feel that their slice of the pie is getting smaller. And if I feel my slice of the pie is getting smaller, that may mean to me I have less power, I have less of a voice, and I have less support. And so the pluses have been many, but I think we also have to keep our eye on some of the climate change that is happening when people who have felt their dominance don't feel as dominant and may have to share a little bit more.
What an excellent point.
And so how have the past 5 years changed my approach to DE&I? It's been really interesting. As a leader, I've always believed in making sure everybody has their voice, feels heard, feels respected, that we've created space where people can, I say, pursue that American dream. How do we do that? But even in that, and even for me, I never thought about introducing myself with my pronouns. That's a change. And I think that it's not so much that maybe you don't know what my pronouns are, but it's to make sure you understand, I understand the importance of introducing myself that way. So it opens up the door for others to feel more comfortable doing that. And I think that's really important. The other thing that we do here and that we help our organization do is everyone prides themselves on doing some kind of engagement survey and taking those numbers and looking at the parts that they like and not so much the parts that talk about, do I feel like I belong? Do I feel included? Or even are you asking those questions? And if you're not asking those questions, then you may feel good about the survey, but you're not really reaching your people. And I think that asking those questions and then being able to lean in and have maybe some uncomfortable conversations about that, that's the biggest change in the past few years. And I think that's, for me, one of the things that we do better as we give people that safe space to learn to ask those questions and then ask themselves, what do the responses mean? And that's been, I think, the biggest change for me in my DE&I space.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's something very powerful you said that just created such a wonderful image when you said they need to not only see it, they need to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be part of the conversations that are taking place inside of organizations. Thank you. That's going to be a big takeaway for me. So Desmond, I'm going to go to you. So do you think DEI has progressed in the last 5 years, and has your personal or professional view or approach to DEI changed in that same period of time?
Yes, that's a great question. And, really to add on to what Henry shared, I believe yes and no. And I'll say that because, we've certainly seen a ton of progress as it relates to some of the things that were mentioned there in terms of board representation, leaderships at companies. We're proud here at Workiva to have a female CEO, which is not, something you see in tech every day. But, there are places that some of us live, like myself, here in Texas, where we're seeing things take a step back in terms of laws that have been passed and obviously Supreme Court decisions and things of that nature, which, kind of put some obstacles up that we may have to overcome. But, overall, though, I do think that we're still a net positive, and we still have a very, very long way to go in terms of the journey. So, from a Workiva standpoint, we're about a 15-year-old company. And, we in the last 5 years have added, to our kind of suite of DEI in terms of, including things like equity and also including things like belonging, stuff that we, quite frankly, were not looking at, as detailed as we are today. And DEIB for us at Workiva is now the foundation. If you think of a house, if you think of a building or a structure, the foundation is really, where it starts, right? So we integrate, DEI into our goals, into our talent acquisition, our talent attraction practices, our ESG, environmental sustainable governance practices, and as well as in our training. So we require employees to take, DEIB training, regardless of where you are in the globe. And we're fortunate enough to have, roughly 2,600 employees. And, that has, honestly changed my approach, to be even more intentional about DEI from those things that Henry also mentioned. I would say also you need to feel it in terms of DEI, where most of us may be in a hybrid or a remote environment where when you're talking to someone or you're on a virtual setting and you're in a meeting, I think it's important to have that feeling, that sense of connection as well, that sense of inclusion that should exist from all the colleagues that you're encountering, as well as leadership. So all in all, I think we're a net positive. We're moving in the right direction, and from a Workiva perspective, we still have a long way to go, but we're happy on the trajectory that we're on today.
Wonderful. Desmond, thank you very much for that. Braden, same question. So do you think that DEI has progressed in the last 5 years, and has your personal professional view or approach to DEI changed in that time frame?
It definitely has in the last 5 years, in a couple of different ways. And I would say it kind of comes in waves too. So for a really long time, DEI felt like something that us as DEI practitioners, we were on our soapbox all the time, talking about the importance of it and its role in developing and keeping really amazing talent, its role in fostering innovation, its impact on our bottom line. We were showing everybody the data, but that was what we were spending so much of our time doing. We were spending so much of our time just selling it and not actually getting to practice it so much, because it took just so much selling on why DEI was important to invest in. But then there were some of us, like at Voya, where we were sort of really fortunate to have kind of the C-suite and executives who really believed in it, believed in us, and were willing to do the work and spend the money to invest in it. But now it's become much more of a sort of business imperative. Our investors, our clients are actually demanding it. So with that, our leaders and our decision makers are now really fully on board. And with that, we've been able to kind of take some time off that soapbox and focus a bit more on innovating and come up with programs that are really meaningful to our employees and to our clients. So we've come up with a few new initiatives that have made really great traction for everybody involved, especially when it comes to things like health and wealth equity for us as a benefits provider. And I agree with Henri too. The last couple of years have presented a lot of conversations from folks who feel left out. But I think that we, as the practitioners or our colleagues who may even just be DEI ambassadors as kind of a side project, we all of us need to be comfortable being uncomfortable and remembering when you go into a conversation that your goal isn't to disagree, your goal is to change minds. So particularly over the last year, my biggest change is learning more and more to approach a conversation ready to learn rather than ready to disagree. And this comes easier to some of us more than others. Me personally, I mentioned I'm a proud gay man. I was raised in San Francisco, but half my family's from rural Montana and the other half's from Alabama. And I love them all, despite some traumatic past in our disagreements. But I've been having these conversations my whole life. But I know for a lot of us on both sides of the debate, it's something that we need to encourage each other to learn. So that's a big focus of ours right now, is encouraging each other to know how to have healthy, appropriate, and respectful conversations when we disagree.
I think that's a great point. And you referenced something that made me think about how much in the same way that LGBTQ started adding extensions to the initials, DEI began to do the same thing. And I always remind people, when you see that happen, what people are telling you is that there's still pain. They're still hurting somewhere. And so, yes, you may have become a quote diverse organization, but if individuals don't feel like justice is part of the DNA of that organization, they're going to put another letter in there just to remind you there's still pain, and we got to make sure that we're looking at the whole person, not just their exterior, not just any other one factor, but looking at the whole person. So I think that's a great point you brought up. Yemi, would love to hear your insights. Do you think DEI has progressed in the last 5 years, and has your personal professional view or approach changed in that time as well?
Yes, and yes, Robin, thank you for the question. And again, it's pretty tough to go last when you have such articulate people going first. They've answered the question so well that I'm like, God, that I was going to say that. I was going to say that too, Henri. Well, thank you. I was going to say that too, and so on and so forth. But let me say this, and I think, and I want to ground us just a bit. Two things I'd like to do. One, ask for permission for me to be just very, very honest and candid with you all. Some things I might say might come off in a way that might be offensive or uncomfortable, and so please, I ask for your permission to allow me to be authentic in this moment. And if I do say something that hurts your feelings, I do apologize. It's not my intent. And the other piece is, I hear some background noise. Sorry. And the other piece is that if I could ground us quickly in how I understand DEI and the shift that has happened. I think DEI has been around for decades. It's been called so many different things, and over the last maybe three or so years since 2020, we saw this uprising, this civil unrest that really brought this highlight into DEI, and you saw a lot of companies really put out commitments. And to be frank, they put forth commitments that they really didn't know how to answer. They just know that our people care about this, our shareholders care about this, our customers care about these, our employees care about this, so we got to say something, we have to do something. And they put out there and said, we're committing to DEI, having no clue what that meant, having no clue how to invest the resources to it, having no clue how to define success. In fact, I still struggle, I've been doing this work for about almost 10 years now, on how to define DEI, define success in DEI. Meaning, is it simply representation increase? Is that success for us? Is it that every employee feels included? Is it that we are seeing, representation in leadership? Like, how do you define it, right? And so over the last 5 years, I think that we're still trying to figure this thing out. And I think one thing we've learned is that there is no one size fit all. Absolutely not, okay? And so for each organization, it needs to look at their products or solutions they provide, the customers they serve, and think deeply to say, if I'm creating a certain product for a certain customer or consumer, how do I make sure that I'm creating a workforce, right, that is diverse in nature enough so the diversity of thought and perspective creates a product that is inclusive of the diversity of the community in which it's serving. And I think that's an important piece we need to think about. One of the things I've learned over the last 5 years in terms of how I've evolved in this work is I grew up, in Chicago, and I grew up learning about DEI in the US. I had a job at Groupon where I was the chief diversity officer, and I was responsible for our global, we had a huge office. I think we had about 7 offices in EMEA, 6 in APAC. And I was responsible for all these people. And I'm like, hey, listen, I have no idea what DEI means internationally. None. I know what it means in the US, right? We have 18 protected characteristics. It's well-defined. We understand the classifications of DEI, gender, ethnicity, social economy. I mean, we could break it down here in the US. So I decided to move to London and spend about 7 months in London living and working in that office and traveling through EMEA to learn about what DEI meant internationally, specifically in that area. And it changed it changed everything, right? One, DEI is not classified there, meaning, it's not about, you can't even collect the data about ethnicity. Well, maybe you can collect gender, but you can't collect anything else. So you can't really understand, how do you define folks who might be from France but live in Paris, but now are from Switzerland but live in London, right? It's so diverse. There's so many dimensions. So unlike the US, where it's like ethnicity, gender, and we could celebrate, Women's History Month, and we can celebrate Pride Month, and we can celebrate these different months. Internationally, unfortunately, you don't have that as much because there are so many others that you're not going to celebrate. So I started to think that what is DEI then? Like, what's the purpose of this work? And so what has shifted in me over the last 5 years is that rather than spend so much time, and it's important, representation is very important, so let's not miss that. But rather than spend so much time making DEI about this social activism within the workplace, how about we think about, hey, listen, if the job is to make sure that every single one of us in the company, irrespective of your identity, irrespective of your skill set, you have the absolute space and opportunity to be successful, to be a high performer, to ensure that you're performing your best at the company, so your company can, do whatever you do, solutions, products, what have you. If that is the goal, then that's what I want to focus on, right? And I think what happens is that shift from making it all about this activist, and that's important. So this is not taken away from that. This is adding to, or maybe even highlighting, what I think is the core of DEI, which is to make sure that every single person feels a sense of what is mine to do to create an inclusive culture so I could be high performing. So that's, I think one of our, Braden talked about respect. Huge, huge. Don't have to agree with you. I don't have to believe what you believe. But if my focus here in the workplace is to get A, B, and C done, if that's our goal, if that's my goal, if that's your goal, what can I do to be respectful of who you are, how you are? Doesn't have to change who I am when I get home. No, be who you are. I mean, in fact, I love the fact that you are who you are. But in this workplace, you have to respect that it's bigger than you. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than us. And if we can have that mindset and think more about business outcomes, high performance, creating a culture where I feel safe and respect, I think for me, that has been the biggest shift in that regard. But again, let's not lose sight and focus that it's important to see progress, right? So for me, representations are indicators of success, not success. Seeing growth, surveys that have high scores are indicators of success, not success. I think success is, what are your mission? What are your company values? What are the business goals and objectives? That for me needs to remain firm up front as success of DEI specifically. I'll pause. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for that. And I'm going to come back to you because you brought up a great point relative to business outcomes, and that kind of ties into my next question, but I'm going to touch on a couple of things. First, you asked about internationally. 2 weeks ago, I met with someone from the International Labor Organization, and we were in a very healthy conversation about what does DEI look like outside of the US. And you are absolutely right. It looks quite different depending on where you are in the world. There are still embedded social issues in other countries that countries will not participate in the International Labor Organization because foundationally they disagree with some of the principles. So yes, it is different throughout the world. Another thing is, oh gosh, who was it? Letitia, you made a great post in the chat. Please, everybody, make a point of looking in the chat. There's a lot of great activity going on there, but you made a point about why you should start with inclusion. That ties directly into what I speak on, which is the two mistakes I see companies make is they try to handle DEI alphabetically or incidentally. Work from where you are. Not every company can become visually diverse immediately, but every company can become inclusive immediately. They can become equitable immediately. And incidentally, don't wait for an incident to happen somewhere in your country, in your city, in your world, and then think that DEI is important. It was important before that happened. It was important before that incident. So let's keep that in mind. But Yemi, you talked about the importance of business outcomes and how DEI really lends itself to that. Tell me, how can a strong DEI initiative benefit companies?
It's a great question, and I'll try to give you an example. So I work for a company named Axon, that's AXON. We are a technology company that serves in the public safety realm. What we do is we provide, technology-based things such as, taser guns, that are a choice of a less lethal option for police officers and law enforcement and others. We also provide and create body cameras that you see most of police officers wear that captures evidence that's also very interactive. And we also have drone cameras and dash cameras in vehicles, and we support the software that holds information, stores information. And so our moonshot goal as a company is to, literally, is to reduce the deaths by bullets in law enforcement and the US public, okay, by 50% over the next 10 years. That's our moonshot goal. So everything that we do is with the idea of how do we create products, have partnerships to help reduce the deaths we see in our communities in the US between law enforcement and US public. So that's what we do. Now, so when you think about that, you think about who are our customers, right? The vast majority of our customers are police officers and law enforcement, well over 90%, okay? Now, when you think about our products and who uses our products and who are the people who are impacted by our products, well, that is the community in the US around the world. We're a global company, but speaking in the US, that's every one of us on this call, right? We are conduits of our products, and that's law enforcement, and make sure that they have the ability, the training, the understanding, and the importance of when to use our products and how to use our products, right? So with that being said, it is imperative that we as an organization have a sense of diversity of thought and perspective, so that we create products that, irrespective of who you are, your shape, body size, your height, your racial, your any dimension of diversity, you are able to use our products in a way that is just as effective. So for example, imagine we had a product where we initially created our body cameras that sat on the chest. Let's say it was a heavy, big box. I'm going, we're 30 years old. Let's say that, some 20 years ago, huge, big box on your chest. And so if we had a lot of men who were working in our office or product development, you can create this thing on your chest and it's fine. And you can test it and say, oh yeah, I can work, I can move, there's no issue. And then you put that product out there and realize, like, oh my God, we're seeing a shift in the community and law enforcement where we're having more women police officers. Well, if you put that same camera that might be heavy and bulky on the chest, it might feel different or uncomfortable for women, depending if they're busty or not, right? So these are little things you have to think about that can make a tremendous difference. Or maybe you're creating a body camera that can communicate between law enforcement and a individual who speaks a different language. Well, how come our body cameras cannot translate? Kind of like what Google does, right? When someone speaks, if you don't understand, hit a little button, it translates the button into language, so the police officer right then and there can understand what this person is saying, right? So I think there are lots of things we can do, but we need the diversity of thought and perspective and experiences of people, our workforce, to represent that. And so for us, it's keenly important that we focus on what is it that we're building in terms of products, solutions we're trying to solve, to help us determine the type of workforce we need to help us do that in a way that is reflective of communities we serve. And not simply have it just be the fact that to say, hey, I looked at this team and it's not diverse. And so what we want to do is get more women on the board, or more X on the board, more Y on the board, and then you get them on the board. But guess what happens? Get what we've seen. You've seen a great increase in diversity hiring over the last number of years. But what we don't hear a lot about is the increase in our attrition for diverse employees as well. But why is that? And I think, Rob, you mentioned that the fact that we need to focus on inclusion. Sure, you can bring in more diverse individuals that have different needs and expectations and what have you, but have we done the work? Are we doing the work to ensure that they have a space where they can thrive? That when I come into the table, not only am I sitting on the table, I'm being solicited with my ideas and it's being implemented into decision-making, not just simply being a, forgive me here, token. And we've seen this with diversity programs, and I'll pause here in a second, where, and it's great intent. I want to have more leaders in leadership. So I create a program that says, hey, listen, I'm looking for directors that are of X. And you go out there, you bring in a bunch of directors that are X, and you're proud, success. Now we have 5 women on our board, or we have 5 this on our board, and you check the box of success. And then when they meet and have a conversation, the others are like, well, you only got this job because you're a woman, or because you're Hispanic, or because you're Black, whether they speak it out loud or not. But it's this tokenism that we have to be very careful of, to say, we hired you because you are the best talent for this job. It so happens that you're a woman, or you're X, or you're Y. Like, how do we get to the point where we can create a talent pool that is diverse in nature, where our hiring managers can focus on hiring the best talent? So here's the solve. 10 seconds and I'll shut up. The solve is this. Well, maybe not a solve. That's a bit too confident. Here's the idea. Imagine if we focus less on our hiring diversity numbers. Like, the goals wasn't based on representation in terms of hiring. Imagine if the goal was saying the slate, the pool of candidate slates we hire is the most important thing to make sure it's very, very diverse. And we tell our hiring managers, hey, listen, your job as a hiring manager is to focus only on one thing, the best talent. Think best talent. Think of nothing else but best talent. However, the idea is to make sure that we provide them with a slate that is diverse in nature. This is in addition to inclusive training. This is inclusion of bias training and everything else as a journey. And what I think and I hope will happen is this natural, authentic, genuine progression where you're seeing more diverse individuals within the workforce come into the workforce. You having a culture that's inclusive, where it solicits, right? It's a competitive advantage to find diverse ideas and thoughts, and then hopefully produce better, more innovative outcomes and solutions and products. I'll pause.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. And I really commend everyone at Axon for continuing to innovate in their space. Does Kim Boynton still work there?
Ooh, let me go and work there. Give me a second.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm going to move on to the next person. We're going to get short on time, so I want to make sure that we are talking as much about opportunities within the organization. So I'm going to take the question I just asked Yemi, and I'll go to Braden next. How can a strong DEI initiative benefit companies?
Yeah, so Yemi was kind of alluding to this. You know, there's the historical outlook on DEI in terms of how we treat our employees, how we recruit employees, retain, diversify our boards, all of that. And that's like the 5 years ago DEI. The question is now, for the companies who have gotten pretty good at that, what happens next? There's the things we've known for a while. DEI improves recruiting and retention, saves the company money in that regard. More diverse perspectives on business decisions can actually create better decisions. And there's research all directly correlating this with improved profits. But we've known all of this for so long. We've been talking about it for so long. For me personally, like I love talking about it for so long, and now I'm bored. I want to talk about what comes next. So let's talk about something new. To Yemi's point, let's actually talk about the ways that it affects business outcomes, particularly now. You know, when every social media post we do has comments from naysayers who may call us woke for doing something as simple as thanking our LGBTQ employees during Pride Month. So let's take a step back from talking about DEI, and particularly now, let's just do it and let's show our success and how it's really worked for everybody. So for us as a benefits provider, I can talk about how it's improved wellness outcomes at companies. There's this thing in DEI and HR in particular that we call self-identification, self-ID. If you're not familiar, if you're applying for a job right now, I'm sure you've seen it before, even if you don't know it. And it's those questions in a job application where you answer a survey saying, I identify as Hispanic or Latino, I identify as having a disability, I identify as LGBTQ, and so on. And at Voya, we've actually started attributing that self-ID information to things like employee retirement accounts, our 401ks, our health insurance spending, all these other really important metrics of financial wellness. And that's been a huge asset to how we provision benefits in an equitable way to our employees and recognize their unique financial situations that come with something as simple as their demographic. It's the whole reason we started something that's my favorite benefit personally, which is our student loan reimbursement program, because we found that many of our employees of color had lower retirement account balances, not because of their salaries necessarily, but because they had higher student debt burdens. And so we unveiled this student loan reimbursement program to help rectify that. And that plan benefits everybody, regardless of their demographics. And as a white male with 6 figures of student debt, being totally honest here, is my favorite benefit. I think it's awesome. And in turn, that serves as a recruiting and retention asset for everybody. So I think the translation of DEI into the actual provision of benefits is a really exciting frontier for us that's been super impactful and beneficial.
Braden, thank you. I think that that's a very relevant point that he just made about how Voya didn't just look at data. they made the data actionable. They found something to do with it. So yes, a lot of companies can quickly determine that any one demographic there may be a shortfall. And you can acknowledge that, and you can even find a number of ways to excuse it. But I like how you said, we didn't assume it was just because of lower pay. You dug deeper. You found the source of the problem, and you solved it at the source. I think that's what makes companies stronger, because again, like you said, it's what you consider to be one of the greatest benefits, but no one would even think to ask it if they went for a job interview. So I think that's very powerful. Henri, how can a strong DEI initiative benefit companies?
Well, again, you guys have been stealing the thunder, so I'm going to just jump in here and keep it concise. But one of the things that we know is DE&I is nothing without that belonging component. And that belonging component is why people stick. If I come into an organization and you've recruited me, you've brought me on board, but you have no infrastructure where I feel like I belong, I'm not going to stay. And I'm not going to give you my best self. I'm going to give you the homogenized version of me. And so I think it's important that that belonging happens. We have a diverse group of clients. Because we have a diverse group of clients, our employee base needs to be diverse. How do we bring them in and have them participate in this experience? Our employees can use our product. When we test new products, we ask our employees to give us that feedback. So I think that we are getting a different way to look at a problem because you have a different group of people helping you solve. And I do think I'm also really cautious when I hear best talent, because I think in my 100 years, unfortunately, of being in business, I've heard leaders always say we're always hiring the best. Because they're not taking into account, in a sense, their own unconscious bias. And so I really do believe that experiential learning helps people transition to understand what best talent means. And that has to happen, because we'll keep hiring what we call best if we don't push you to think, what does best look like today? And I think that that's critical to how an organization hires, why an organization can retain that talent, and what makes that happen.
Wonderful. Thank you, Henri. Desmond, how can a strong DEI initiative benefit a company?
Yeah, great answers so far by the panel. So I'll just kind of wrap things up here and say, from a cultural standpoint, culture, can be set at the top of the organization in terms of, principles, the value structure, and things of that nature. But it's also from the bottom of the organization in terms of all of the employees, whether they're VP level or they're individual contributor level. All of that, in a sense, makes, as Henri just alluded to, makes the decision. Most of us have probably been on airlines, and that right before you're about to get off, they always say, "Thank you for choosing this airline. You've had other options. You could have went elsewhere." So ultimately, all of us want, employees like, or prospective employees like we have here today, to choose our company because we feel like we have a strong sense of culture. We feel like we have a strong DEI program, and we feel like long-term, this will be a great place for it to work. And, I'll give a quick example, here at Workiva, again, as a technology company, one thing we've been leaning into heavily and recently introduced to all of our North American clients, or the option for our North American clients, is generative artificial intelligence. There's a lot of conversation about it. There's a lot of things going on in that industry related to ChatGPT and things of that nature. But, we strategically, went out and sought feedback from our clients, all over the world in terms of what they might want to see from that solution, and also from our employee base as well. So these decisions we try, certainly not to make in a vacuum, because we want, our products, our services to be more diverse, which makes our company better, and it makes our employee base want to speak up in terms of their creative and original thought.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay, we just have a few minutes left, so I'm going to bring it down to one question. And then the last one, I'm going to ask you to put the information in the chat. So the first part is, and I'll just stick with you, Desmond, as we address the nationwide workforce development challenges, we're noticing that a lot of job candidates are being more selective about where they work. Here's the question. Why would you recommend that a qualified candidate consider job opportunities with your organization? The next part of that was going to be, tell us about some of the job openings, but in the interest of time, if you can put those openings in the chat, people can capture them and follow up on them later. But really, I want to know why your organization? I'm sure there's a myriad good reasons, but I want to know, why should they apply with you?
Sure, absolutely. Happy to speak on it. So, Workiva is again, a fairly new company, 15 years old. We're based in Ames, Iowa. But I think, some things to be most proud of, in this environment where we see a lot of news about, companies telling employees, hey, come on back to the office, or, work in a hybrid environment, things of that nature. We are a work where you work best company, meaning that if you work best in an office, feel free to come into the office if there's one near you. If you like a hybrid and you're available to come to the office, feel free to do that. But, we have approximately 55 to 60% of our company is fully remote. Prior to, 2020 with COVID, we were probably, flipped the other way, but we encourage you to, even as a technology company, and, there's certainly opportunities to collaborate in person via team meetings and things of that nature, but we encourage you to work where you work best. As you mentioned earlier, we're 5 years running in terms of Fortune 100 best companies to work for in tech. And, we really have a strong foundation, again, in our culture. And our culture is, inclusion being a core value of what we do. And, we say no one has more fun than us, as well. So I'll just leave it at that to keep it short, but we welcome everyone to come and learn more about our organization following this panel discussion.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Desmond. Yemi, tell me why a qualified candidate should make Axon one of their choices.
Thank you for the question. I'll try to keep it short. I feel like I've been so long-winded. My apologies, everyone. I get really excited about these types of conversations. Why Axon? Listen, I think that, when I think about the current workforce we have people who are truly passionate. I think this, the work at Axon goes beyond just creating products and solutions. I think that if you have a passion for community, if you want to pay it forward while getting paid, if you want to make a difference in the world that we live in today, especially when it comes to things such as reducing violence. And I think everyone on this call is very keenly aware of what's going on in Israel and in Gaza. And so for me, it just makes us double down on our mission, which is to protect life. So if that's something that resonates with you and you have a skill set, we want you. We want you to join the team, and we want you to be part of this moonshot goal to reduce deaths in the US and over the next 10 years by half between the public and US law enforcement. And so that's really what I would say. And then, and this work is for me is very meaningful. I try to be as objective as we can in a very subjective world in work that we do. And we get it wrong often. So if you're looking for a perfect workforce, that is not us. But I think what we do try to do is hold ourselves accountable and make those changes when necessary and point it out. And yeah, so that's all I have to say. And again, thank you so much for this opportunity. This was incredible. I can't wait to watch the recording. So many gems. Thank you all.
Wonderful. Don't sign off yet. Henri,
Okay.
Achieve.
We just recently, we invest in training every year, but this year we've invested 172,000 hours in training. If you are looking for some place where you can grow, 30% of our career advancement people were promoted internally. We have employee resource groups that are active with 500 members in some of the channels. Our engagement scores are some of the best in the industry. And so if you want to be someplace where you can feel a sense of community, where your individuality is still celebrated because you are who you are, where you can make a difference and help the lives of people who are struggling financially, this is a place for you. I live about an hour and a half away from my office, and I am in this office by choice because I love when people come in. I love to see them, but we do have a hybrid environment, so you can have both experiences. But for me, I choose Achieve because I can come in and be me every single day, and I can be creative. I can challenge the status quo because that's how we get better. Part of our core values are care, get better, collaborate with everyone, and act with integrity. And we challenge each other when we don't see that model. And I think that where else can you say that? Where else can you say that today your leader is thinking about you? Where else can you say that today your leader knows your birthday, your anniversary, important dates for you? That's the kind of organization we are, as well as your career opportunities. We lean in on those things. And that to me is what makes Achieve the exceptional organization that I'm proud to belong to.
Wonderful. Thank you. Braden, we'll let you close it out. Why Voya?
It's a very intimidating place to be, but I'm happy to do it. So first of all, thanks everybody for having me. I've honestly learned a lot from hearing your all perspectives as well and monitoring the chat. But so I've been here for 11 years. I've started out as an intern. I have had, being honest, have had opportunities over the years to leave, and I've chosen to stay. So I get asked this question all the time, and I particularly did during the war for talent, where our job candidates had 10 or 20 even job opportunities to choose from. So they'd want to know why here. And I always say that it's because Voya picks this perfect mix of folks who are this combination of super kind and super smart. Those are the folks that do well here. They're really good at their jobs, and they're also just uplifting people to be around. Everybody, up to our C-suite, up to our CEO, those are the folks that you're seeing stay here as a company. You're seeing them get promoted. It's like this kind of ingrained part of our talent strategy. So I like coming into work every day. I like my meetings because I get to learn from people. I get to feel supported. I get to have fun. I'm with good people every day. And a quick plug for my own team too. We have awesome ERGs. I'm totally biased, but they do really achieve a lot. We also offer employees industry-leading benefits like 40 hours per year of PTO just to go out in the community and volunteer wherever you want. We also match employees' contributions dollar for dollar to the nonprofit of their choice, up to $5,000 per employee. And we know that our employees care about the community because they engage in these programs at about a rate of 70% compared to industry-wide, comparatively about 30% engagement. So it really is a great place to be in terms of our culture, and the numbers tell that story. And I'll add too that we have over 100 open positions right now, the majority of which are remote. We're very adamant that we are a hybrid and flexible workforce, which we're very proud of. So check us out.
Really, really appreciate that. Was great. Everybody, please make sure if you've got specific job postings that you want this audience to know about, please post them in the chat. Certainly post your company's website so they can go looking on their own. Jessica, if you will just indulge me, I have one thing. It shouldn't take more than 2 minutes. The state of California just this week passed a law that beginning in 2025, venture capital firms will need to disclose the diversity in how they are spending their money. So what kind of companies are they funding through their venture capital? Here's my question, quick yes or no. Is this a good thing? Do you see this spreading into the corporate space? Braden, I got you on the screen. We'll start with you. Good thing, and do you think it's going to spread out?
I think it's going to vary. We already do have a lot of clients who are adamant about transparency. So it's sort of already occurring to us. We have a lot of folks who audit our DEI and impact report, go through every single number. It's also a part of the RFP process for a lot of clients. So I would say it's probably already happening here, if anything.
Awesome. Thank you. Desmond.
Yes, absolutely. And, we actually have clients that, do use our platform for things such as this. So I absolutely expect it to continue and to expand potentially to other states as well.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yemi, what do you think?
Yes, I concur. Isn't that good?
Thank you. Okay,
32.
okay, Henri, close us out.
As California goes, often so goes the country. It'll probably take some time, but it won't be a bad thing that happens. It'll be great.
Wonderful. Thank all of you so much. This was a phenomenal panel. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed learning from each of you. I will get all of your contact information because I just know who the next 4 guests on my web series are going to be, because this is what we talk about. We talk about DEI through the positive lens. So thank you very much, Jessica. Thanks for letting me go just a couple of minutes over. I thought it was worth it. And please, everyone, enjoy the rest of this. This is going to be an incredible, incredible event today.
Thank you guys so much. Robin, Desmond, Henri, Braden, and Yemi. Amazing. Seriously, I mean, come on. Tell us in the chat, did we pick the right people for this or what? Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are so honored you spent your morning with us. Thank you for engaging, being honest, authentic, and real, and I learned so much today, but one of the things I heard over and over is we don't all have to be the same. We don't have to think the same. Differences are valued, regardless of what those differences are, and inclusion is essential. Thank you so much again for being here. Thank you to all the participants participating in the chat. It's fantastic. Thank you for your questions. Round of applause for our panelists. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, you guys, we are going to move on to the next section of our event today. And this one is going to be our hiring companies. Are going to come in, and now the additional hiring companies, they're each going to speak for about 3 minutes and talk to you about their jobs and what they have available. To answer a couple quick questions in the chat. One, please drop your LinkedIn URL. I am connecting with tons of people. I know you all are connecting with each other as well. So drop your LinkedIn URL in the chat so we can connect with each other. The chat is not able to be saved. And so we had to lock it down a couple years ago for security reasons. We had a breach. And so there will be no saving of the chat. There's no copying of the chat. So sorry about that. So please connect. That's why we ask people to drop in their LinkedIn URL that's clickable. And I will put the instructions in the chat on how to do that. And but this recording is going out. So you will be able to see this at a later time if you'd like. You will get an email after the event today that will have a link directly back to the Zoom call, and it's recorded and you'll be able to watch this webinar back. All right. Okay, so let's move on. I'm going to introduce the speaker, they'll talk, and then we'll move on to the next company. So I'd like to introduce you all to Matt Google. He is a talent acquisition specialist with Desert Financial Credit Union. Hi, Matt.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I went ahead and just dropped mine into the chat so you can connect with me there. Really quick on us. So for those of you who are not familiar, Desert Financial Credit Union is the largest and oldest Arizona-based credit union. We have been around for about 84 years, started for educators. Now we like to bank with whoever would like to bank with us. So with that, as we've been expanding, we have opened up a couple of subsidiaries. As you can see on the screen, one of those is going to be SwitchThink, which is particularly an area that I oversee. So that would be our tech group. We also have a mortgage subsidiary as well. And depending on kind of where you would like to fit within the organization, there's a lot of different type of work that we have available. Go ahead to the next slide. So this is not everything. I kind of picked the three biggest areas for us: technology, operations, and sales and service. All of these roles, by the way, for the most part, are going to live here in the Phoenix area. If they're in a branch for us, it would be full-time in office. Otherwise, it's going to be probably a hybrid type of role. You can find any of these on our career sites, and I'd be happy to talk about any of them more in depth later today. And if you would like to connect or have any questions, feel free to reach at us, careers@desertfinancial.com. Otherwise, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to connect and answer any questions you might have. Thanks, guys.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Matt. We appreciate having you here today. Matt will be available in the breakout session. All right, I'd like to move on now to Rocket Companies. We have Eric Jones, a Senior Talent Relationship Manager. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you for having me. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully going well. Apologize, I wasn't sharing my camera earlier. I was actually driving from another event where I was doing a very similar presentation. But Rocket Companies, our organization is very large. It's probably larger than really what you think. The next slide is going to actually show you some of those organizations. So these are the 16 companies that you have an opportunity to actually, if you apply to one, you're actually applying to all 16. The recruiter on the other end of the caller that's speaking with you is actually going to be trying to figure out exactly what it is you're looking to do, what you're passionate about, and where your skill set fits the best. If you look at a lot of these organizations, they are a lot of home financing, personal finance, those type of things. If you even look at the O right here, as I point to it above me, what did most people see? If you could throw it in the chat really, really quickly, I'll give you 2 seconds to do so. So now we're short on time. If you look at it from a distance, it's a person. If you look at the shoulders and the halo is actually around the head. If you think about our organizations, all 16 of them, they're financially related and they have to deal with financing and making things that seem very difficult seem very simple. And that's our role, trying to make things very, very simple for our clients. From Rocket Mortgage to Rocket Homes to Rocket Money, which is a fantastic budgeting platform that we have. We have offices in Detroit, Michigan, Phoenix, Arizona, and Cleveland, Ohio. The cool thing is we are a virtual based or an internet-driven organization. Last time I checked, the internet never sleeps. So our organization really never does. And it's always there willing to help you. Next slide, please. One of the main roles that we're looking for, especially within those Arizona location, for those of you that are still opportunities and looking for things there, is sales. Sales is the lifeblood of our organization. It's something that we actually pay for your leads. We pay you during training. We make sure you're an expert before we get you out there speaking with clients and putting them in better situations as well. We make sure that you have qualified leads. There are no cold calling. So that's one of the biggest advantages. And you can do it very, very quickly, meaning everything relies on you. The effort that you put in, the resources that the organization will provide for you will lead in your success. Next slide, please. Couple QR codes. The one on the left, if you're looking at the screen, is my direct LinkedIn. Since we live in that day and age where everybody has a cell phone, so definitely pull those out. And then the far right link is actually that link that actually for applying to those sales-based opportunities. I am also going to put some information in the chat. Please come by, talk to me when you have an opportunity, even if it's just to peek in and say hello and connect. And I guarantee you there's some way I can help you either for a long-term internship or a full-time based opportunity. Appreciate it and look forward to talking to you.
Love it, Eric. Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
was very interested to hear your talk. I think this is the first time you've presented at a Career Connectors program. So thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. All right, you guys. Now let's hear from Northern Trust. We have LaDonna Korn and Gina Damascus, both in talent acquisition. Welcome, ladies.
Good morning, everybody. So I'm pleased to meet you all and share anything and everything Northern Trust. Northern Trust is a global financial services firm headquartered in Chicago. We do have 130 years of rich history. Specifically here in Arizona, we've had a presence dating back to 1974, and we opened our first major hub in 2015. So we currently have about 22,000 employees worldwide in 20 different countries, and then about 19 locations here in North America. So what does Northern Trust do? We specialize in wealth management, asset management, and asset servicing. Our primary clientele includes 30% of the Forbes 400 wealthiest Americans, corporations, and institutions. While we do offer banking services to high net worth individuals, our specialty is in pensions and trusts. And you can see on this slide, we believe you're made for greater. Culture is big here at Northern. We've even been called Northern Nice. We have 5 core pillars of our value proposition that you'll see listed here on this slide. These are all very important components of the culture we've created here. You can go to the next slide. And my favorite is culture of care and collaboration. Here's all the awards that we've received just this year. Northern offers a robust benefits package to all of its partners, including 2 paid volunteer days. Giving back is important to all of us. Over the past 10 years, we have donated over 160 million to charities worldwide and performed more than 1.1 million hours of service. outside of volunteerism, we do like to have fun. Here at our Tempe site, we do lots of team building activities and social events. LaDonna is going to share with you some of the activities we've done.
Yes, good morning, everyone. One of the things we do best here is engagement. We love to engage our partners. We love to engage the community. So right now, I don't know if you all can see, it's our month of giving back. So I have on our Northern Trust Giving Back t-shirts that we wear. We go out in the community, we help, we give hours and hours on time. And as well as our partners inside, as you can see on some of the photos, we do dress up contests. We do Halloween dress up. We do ugly sweater. So it's just a great and awesome place to work for. I've been here over 27 years now, and I can't tell you how much I love the Northern Trust Company.
Thank you. And you can go to the next slide. I think that's our last slide. So finally, you want to know what we're hiring for. So if you scan this QR code, you'll get taken directly to our career site where you'll find various opportunities. We are currently operating in a hybrid model. So we do go into the office 3 to 4 days per week, and then we work the rest of the week remotely from home. We do have currently several open and active job postings for our Tempe Hub. When you visit the career site, you'll be joining our talent community. You'll receive alerts when we have roles that match your skill set. Our partners also will have access to Northern Trust University, where there's tons of learning tools and resources. You can even get certified in various skill sets like Six Sigma or Agile methodology. Just this year, I taught myself how to do Scrum methodology and pivot tables. Our benefits package includes full medical, dental, vision, 401k plan, and a pension plan. We want you to find your grader and look forward to speaking with you all in the breakout rooms. Thank you.
Fantastic, ladies. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing all your positions, and they'll be available in the breakout sessions as well here in a few minutes. So hang tight and you'll be able to speak to any of these hiring companies that you are interested in. All right, let's move over to Honor Health. And so I saw someone in the chat asking about healthcare companies. Yes, we have a couple of them here today. So Robin Ersland is here. She oversees talent acquisition at Honor Health. Thank you, Robin. Good morning.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, everyone. What a lovely, lovely presentations and event today. So I'm very grateful for Jessica, Denise, and everybody, that's on the event today and for this opportunity. All right. So Honor Health is a hospital system, here in the Phoenix and Scottsdale area. And we're certainly kind of growing, and expanding all throughout the other Phoenix metropolitan area. It could be in the, shape of obviously our complex care, new sites are kind of our freestanding ED and emergency sites here in town, as well as also our, primary and, urgent and specialty, medical groups and practices all throughout the valley as well. All right, so some of our accolades in here. So just kind of gives everybody a little bit of idea, about who Honor Health is. And we've certainly been here in the Valley, for many years, easily, over 50, now to kind of taking care of the community. So we are in the care for the community, business. We are a local, nonprofit, hospital system as well. So we have a very strong, deep-rooted connection, to our community presence out here. All right, so we've got some great accolades, certainly been making the Forbes list for a while, certainly some, Becker's, lists of awards and accolades as well. So I certainly invite you all to, check us out on our LinkedIn page, because there's some exciting, new opportunities and awards and things that Honor Health has been very proud of, to be able to certainly kind of lift our organization as well as also our people. All right, so next slide. All right, so I will share with you all that we do have a somewhat newer, to the team. He's an individual, his name is Ebner Scott, and he is our new diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging director that we have. And actually, he would probably be joining with me today, but he's doing some, internal employee trainings, sessions right now. So you get me for today. So I know I'm not going to fully do this as full justice as he would be able to, but please know I just wanted to share some highlights, with you about Honor Health. All right, so next slide. All right, so we have gotten more into the place where, certainly after, a lot of things from a healthcare system, perspective took place, kind of, I'll say kind of the, pre and post-COVID eras. We are very excited to share with all of you that we've introduced people resource groups. to our network. Been kind of going on a few, years or so now. So a lot of exciting momentum, certainly within the DEI space, here to these groups. So, and the coolest thing is these are really kind of employee, led groups. I mean, I work with individuals that are kind of taking the lead in each one of these groups in various, outreach, capacities, and also kind of care for, taking the lead from an internal employee, space as well, and also caring for our patients, right? Because we're in the people business. So there's a whole lot that's happening, and shifting as far as being able to improve, that dynamic, care that we need to make sure that we are well representing, everyone, who comes, to Honor Health that needs care, and also from an employee standpoint too. So I know Evander and also our, VP Chief of Wellness and Patient Experience is very hard at work and kind of growing, a lot of this with currently for our teams. All right, so as far as positions that we are hiring for, honorhealthjobs.com, that's our career site. I'll make sure I drop it in the chat. We certainly do have probably the majority of our position listings at this time. You will see a lot that's more, in person, or it could be within, our network database systems. There is some hybrid positions out there, and there is remote positions as well. So on the career site, there's an area where you can kind of check, and filter down to remote. So certainly we can kind of work through that, if you need be. So roles within IT. So even though we are a hospital system, we hire a whole host of different types of jobs, that help, make our patient experience what it is today. So we've got IT, we've got, project management, there could be facilities, obviously your clinical roles, nursing, therapist, and then on my team, human resources. So we have a whole host of different types of opportunities. I'll drop my email in the chat because it may be easier for you that if you are interested for us to kind of do some more custom, kind of career navigation assistance kind of offline and here on out as well. So I look forward to connecting with all of you, and thank you for this opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Robin. We really appreciate you here today and being one of our companies. And so again, available during the breakout session. All right. So moving on, first of all, I just want to remind everyone, please stay on mute. That we would really appreciate that. We're going to be able to unmute during the breakout sessions, but for now, please stay on mute, and we have remuted everybody again. So I would like to welcome from WillScot Mobile Mini, we have Deanne Clark. Actually, I think Tyler Kinney is speaking today from the talent acquisition team. Hi, Tyler.
Hi, how are you? I was going to say I am Deanne Clark, but you beat me to it. So I am at WillScot Mobile Mini, and I wanted to just share a little bit with you about what we've got to offer. We have a lot of great opportunities. In fact, I was looking this morning, we have 274 positions open across Canada, the US, and Mexico. We do service North America, and we have a lot of great opportunities. We've got about 5,000 employees right now. We are in the space solutions space, but we offer both modular and portable storage solutions. And when I was tapped to join the company, so I asked, what would be the draw to modular storage solutions? And there is a ton. We actually show up in a lot of places. You've probably seen us if you're in the Phoenix Valley. You've probably seen our containers all over the valley on construction sites and different things. We actually are in we support the entertainment space. We create stages for concerts to perform in, and then they can store their equipment underneath. So we've got all kinds of cool places that our products show up in. If we jump to the next slide, I can show you a little bit more about the opportunities that we've got. You can see we've got opportunities right now in human resources, IT, sales, accounting and finance, legal, marketing, and then our leadership and management roles. That's just for Phoenix, for the Arizona locations. But like I said, we do have 240 locations, and a lot of them do have open roles. So there is the QR code. If you want to click that, that'll take you to our careers page. Otherwise, the link is below if you're not using a QR code. And then on the last slide is more about who we are as an organization. We do have 5 employee resource groups. We call them inclusive resource teams, but we have our BOLD team, we have our Hispanos team, we have our PRISM team, we have our Veterans United, and then we have Women of WillScot Mobile Mini. So all of these groups come together to help make our company culture better, our employees more informed, They are driving a lot of the cultural transformation within the organization, and it's really exciting to see. I get to be a champion with them as the program manager for all of our IRTs, and so I get to work closely with them each day. I also get to lead our talent acquisition efforts, so I get to do both sides on the attraction and the retention. But WillScot Mobile Mini has a lot to offer. We've got a lot of great volunteer opportunities. We've got a lot of give back opportunities. It's an evolving environment for us as the company, and we've got a lot of runway to grow. So we'd love for you to come and join us.
Fantastic. Well done, Tyler. Thank you so much for
Thanks.
being here. We appreciate you. All right, moving over to a company some of you may never have heard of before, Kubra. We're excited to have them back. Lairab Sultan is with the talent acquisition team. Good morning, afternoon, I guess.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lairab. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be speaking here for you guys today. I am a talent acquisition specialist with Kubra. Dare I say, the only Canadian at the event. That being said, you may or may not have heard of Kubra before, but we have several different solutions that focus on, making the experience of our clients as customers better using our software. We provide all the solutions, these solutions that are listed on our PowerPoint here, to some of the largest utility, insurance, and government entities across North America. To help put things into perspective, using the reactions feature, I'd like if everyone can raise their hand or give a thumbs up if you've ever paid a bill. Then using the chat, let me know what the most recent bill you paid was. Was it utilities? Was it a car payment? Was it mortgage payment? Yeah, I see a lot of, okay, there's the utilities, there's a mortgage, medical bills. But yes, Kubra does facilitate all of that and more. In addition to offering electronic bill presentment solutions, we also have software tracking for your hydro and water usage. Additionally, we also use, using natural language processing to tell Google Assistant or Amazon Alexa to pay an upcoming bill for you. So that's really cool technology there for you guys. We also develop mapping technology to track and notify you of any types of power or street light outages or construction areas. And that's just a few of our product offerings. Today, we offer the most complete and integrated suite of cloud-based customer experience management solutions available on the market. I know that's a little bit of a handful there. I'm sorry, mouthful. Other than that, Kubra has 5 physical offices scattered throughout North America. But due to the increase in popularity for remote work, if you don't live in these states or in the, for example, Tempe, we also hire folks remotely in other states as well. We're also a Great Place to Work certified in Canada and the US. We've also won many other awards like AZ Best Companies, Best Places to Work in terms of diversity and inclusion, women, mental health, and then adding on to that, Comparables Best Workplaces for Compensation, Diversity, and Happiest Employees. For me, a career at Kubra is rewarding and challenging. I've been with the company for 1.5 years and I absolutely love it. You will work with smart and passionate team members. You will have the opportunity to work on cutting edge and innovative technology. And then next slide, please. Now that I've spoken so highly about Kubra, you're probably wondering what open job opportunities we currently have. The list here are only some of the positions we are hiring for. More can definitely be found on our website, which I can post the link for you guys in the chat as well. We are in growth mode, so please don't be shy to reach out to me and even apply through our website as well. There's our link right now. My team lead Alex has just posted that. Last year we hired over 150 people, and this year we're looking to hire even more. And then the final slide, of course, we just released a new culture video, and we want you guys to check it out. So please take a moment to, scan the QR code on the screen to take you to the video and, see for yourself what it's like to work with Kubra.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I wish my answer to have you paid a bill was no. No bills this time. That would be fantastic.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you, Layra, for being here. We really appreciate you.
Thank you, Jessica.
All right. I'd like to move on now to Connor Rich. He is representing Common Spirit as well as Dignity Health, and he may tell you a little bit about that collaboration, but welcome Connor Rich to the stage.
Thanks, Jess. Happy to be here. Love being here. Guys, just real quick, the reason I represent both companies is because we are in flux. Dignity Health merged with Catholic Health Initiatives, two fantastic faith-based organizations for healthcare, and we formed Common Spirit Health. So you may see us all around Arizona. Actually, we're in 21 different states between the two different companies, and so you might recognize this as Dignity Health. But we have merged and we have formed one common unity, which is Common Spirit Health. Next slide, please. We have tons of opportunities all across Arizona, remote opportunities in the 20 other states all along the West Coast. We, of course, being healthcare, we get to do an amazing role, both clinical and non-clinical roles. Obviously myself being non-clinical here, but in human resources, admin, clerical, and a lot of our non-clinical roles have been moved to remote work. So on our website, you'll find a plethora of different things that are both hybrid, remote, fully, or on campus. As someone who used to work on campus, I can tell you, I loved being on campus every day. And I worked in 7 different places in Arizona in my tenure there. And just recently, we started a program where we are actually having remote RN positions as well. So please go on our website and check those out, or drop in with myself or my cohorts in either the Common Spirit or Dignity Health room. On the last slide, you're going to see the link to be able to see where our Common Spirit careers are, and I will drop my information in the chat, and I'll have that available when you get the chance to come and speak with me privately. Look forward to seeing you all. Love being here.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Love having you here. Really great opportunities. And so at both Common Spirit, Dignity Health. And so check those out. And you can also chat up Connor in the breakout rooms as well. Okay, welcome to Vanguard is next. We have Stephen Loya. He is a DEI consultant for Vanguard. Hi, Stephen. Stephen, we cannot hear you if you are talking right now.
Sorry about that. Thank you,
No,
Jessica.
we got
Pleasure. Yeah, pleasure to be here. Hope everyone is having a great day. Really excited to be here representing Vanguard. Some brief introduction of myself. Been with the company now 5 years, based out of our Scottsdale, Arizona office. I am a DEI consultant, really focusing on the Hispanic and Latino community here in the organization. Here at Vanguard, we are one of the world's largest asset managers. Depending on the day and depending on how the market is reacting that day, we have roughly $8 trillion of assets under management. We have 4 US-based locations, with our headquarters being in Malvern, Pennsylvania, offices in Charlotte, North Carolina, Dallas, Texas, and then here in Scottsdale. We do have roughly about 18,000 employees here at Vanguard. We stick to a nautical theme, so we call our employees crew members. So 18,000 crew members across those across 20 sites. The remaining 16 sites are international, and then those crew members do help service over 30 million clients across 170 countries. Here at Vanguard, our mission is simple. It is to take a stand for all investors, treat them fairly, and give them the best chance for investment success. We are hiring a wide range of roles, both entry level, mid-level, and a few executive roles, both in the finance divisions as well as tech divisions. So please stop by our breakout room. More than happy to talk about all those roles. But if you want to find out more, please go to vanguardjobs.com. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Stephen. A lot of great jobs, a company with a lot of longevity and fantastic career paths. And so check out Vanguard and feel free to speak with the team in the breakout room. Okay, I had a couple questions in the chat I want to address, and then we'll move over to USAA. After this event, you will be getting an email, and on that email, we'll have a list of all the companies that are here today, along with direct links to their job boards. You'll also get in that email a link directly taking you back to this webinar. So if it's recorded, it takes a couple hours to process. So sometimes it doesn't actually go live until tomorrow morning, but you'll get that link so you know where to go to view this webinar if you missed some notes and stuff. And again, I apologize that we cannot save the chat or send that out. It's a security issue, and so we aren't able to do that, but thank you all for connecting to each other while here today. All right, I'd like to introduce you all to Maureen Dillman. She is with the talent acquisition team for USAA. Hi, Maureen.
Hello, good morning. I am loving the energy here and I cannot wait to connect with everybody. So just a little bit about USAA. So in 1922, 25 officers came together with the goal of insuring each other's vehicles because the military officers and their community and families were seen as too risky. Obviously being deployed and continuing to move around the nation, that was a risky insurance move for a lot of companies. So together they founded USAA. USAA is really proud to follow their core values: service, loyalty, honesty, and integrity. In addition, our home office is located at USAA in the San Antonio, Texas office, but we have numerous regional offices as well. So those are in Colorado, Phoenix, Florida, and Virginia. All of our opportunities will be on our website on usaajobs.com. We have numerous career avenues. So when you think of USAA, yes, we are member-centric, member-focused. 60% of our employees are typically member contact, which could mean that they are actually touching, talking, seeing, climbing roofs of members themselves. So we also have audit, banking, compliance, customer service and sales careers. We have design, IT, all of the insurance products and services, human resources and risk management. So there are a ton of opportunities out there. I just briefly went and looked. I think I found at least 130 openings, not to include the numerous member contact roles that we have. We are in a hybrid model, so you are generally going to see positions requiring you to be in the office 3 days a week or 4 days a week. We can go to the next slide. And I just want to show you a little bit about some of the customer service jobs that we do have open. It is, again, we're a member service company, so the bulk of what we hire is going to be in customer service and sales and insurance and banking. So here are some of the titles that you can go to usaajobs.com to search on. You can search on any career, you can search on any location, you can search hybrid. If there is anything remote available, you can search that as well. And simply just go to usaajobs.com, put in the keyword search for your career that you're looking for and the location. It's really user-friendly, very broad. And then we can go to the next slide to give you my contact information. To stay in the spirit of DE&I wanted to let you guys know that you may not know, we have numerous diverse business groups at USAA who foster cross-cultural understanding, empowering employees to learn from each other and their strengths, in cultivating each other to work in the office. There's about 8 different DBGs that we have, diversity business groups. So I'm happy to share those with you as well in our breakout session. This is my email and contact information. Please feel free to connect with me and I will go ahead and get you connected to a recruiter based on your career goals and opportunities. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here, Maureen. We really appreciate it. All right, now I'd like to introduce you to our last company before we move into breakout sessions, and that would be ADP. So we have Laura Lynn Smith here today. She is a division vice president and general manager. Hi, Laura Lynn.
Hi, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate the time. And it's always wonderful to be part of these discussions. So ADP is a human capital management provider. So really, if you think about when you get paid, or when you join a company, you join a company, you get paid, you have retirement plans, you have benefits, you also will maybe get some performance coaching and performance reviews. ADP provides solutions to companies to do all of those things. We are proud to say that we are a Fortune magazine, World Most Admired Companies, 16 years in a row. And as you can see off to the side, we have many accolades that we receive from different members of our business community. But I think what really is also great is we regularly hear from our associates through various surveys how wonderful it is to work at ADP. If you see the QR code at the top right, feel free to scan that and explore all the different positions that we do have available at ADP. We're going to be doing the breakout in a little bit and would love to chat with you about what you're interested in. If we can go ahead and move to the next slide, I'll share a little bit more about the benefits of working at ADP. And it appears some of the formatting may have gone a little wonky here, but you can see a lot about our culture. And just to key in on a little bit around our diversity at ADP, we have 10 different business resource groups which celebrate the diversity of our associates. At ADP, we feel that our strength is our diversity. And those DRGs range, from different ethnicities, sexual orientation, gender, age, so many different ways, even thought, diversity of thought, so many different, ways for us to celebrate our associates. There's a lot of great career growth opportunity at ADP, and you can see we have many benefits that we offer to our associates, including pet insurance as well. So many reasons to join ADP. And if we can go to the next slide. Again, please scan that QR code. And we do have opportunities available in many of our different job families: implementation, client service, sales, leadership, and even more. So scan that code, take a look at our different opportunities. Also, you'll see email addresses for several of our talent acquisition business partners, as well as mine. Looking forward to hearing from you. And again, thank you so much for the time, and looking forward to chatting with you in the breakout.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for bringing up the last company to speak today. We so appreciate you, Laura Lynn, being here and speaking. All right, you guys, we are going to move into the resources for a few minutes, and then we'll jump into the breakout sessions. So first of all, we could not have done this event and get the word out to so many people without all of our amazing community partners. So we listed many of them on this slide here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for getting the word out about this program. It's something that's very near and dear to our hearts, and we're trying to connect people with really, really great jobs. So thank you for getting the word out and helping us. Also, for everyone on the line, if you have any feedback, I am getting a ton of feedback in LinkedIn right now, so thank you for connecting with me there. But if you have any additional feedback that you'd like about this program, feel free to email us at any time. We love your feedback, and we really appreciate it. So feel free to email us at any time at contact@careerconnectors.org. You will also get an email from us again later today with additional information, and you can respond right to that. We have a couple resources for you. There's tons of content and resources and webinars on our website, but you also can access the DISC assessment, which is a great tool to use to understand a little bit more about your communication style, your ideal work environment. And so you can get on our website and take a look at that. You can look at all of our past recordings from the last three years. We've been doing this work for 14 years, but the last 3 years, much of our programming has been virtual. So we have recorded the virtual events, and that's all on our website. We are doing a lot of engagement on social media. So please, if you're, we have a LinkedIn group where there's a lot of content, but also job opportunities are posted there, specifically on our LinkedIn group. And then we are doing a lot on Instagram right now as well, and bringing content and resources and jobs all out there as well. We just did a giveaway, gave away a $100 gift card yesterday on that platform, but we would love to engage with you in all of our platforms. Now, our upcoming events are going to be showing on the screen here. Monthly, we do an event that is content and coaching focused. And the way that we had this program set up, we did our diversity hiring event, and then we wanted to really get real and address some of the things that some of you are still maybe feeling. We have a fantastic speaker. Her name is Brenda Cunningham. She is going to be talking about tackling the career obstacles of age, race, and gender. So many people feel like, hey, I am not getting looked at because of my age or because of my race or because of my gender. We're diving in, you guys. We're going to talk about that, and that will be November 2nd, again, a virtual event. at that event, after the keynote speakers, then we will have free coaching, resume writers, professional resume writers, professional LinkedIn coaches, career coaches, all for free. So I encourage you, if you do not have your next job landed yet, and maybe you're still looking, or maybe you're just kind of putting your toe in the water right now, what's out there, you need to be at these events. Thursday, December 7th, I am excited. I get to do one keynote a year, and this is my keynote. I always take up the December event. We're going to talk about what has happened in 2023, the job landscape, but we're going to be focused on the future. So 2024, navigating the future and forging your career path ahead. Again, we will have all of those resources available to you. We are doing a career fair on site in Phoenix for USAA. So be looking for information about that. Those two last events, December 7th and 9th, are not yet on our website. We're working out some additional details. And so you'll see the December 7th one posted in the next day or so. And then the December 9th one will be within the next probably week or so. We're still maybe adjusting a date on that as well. But those are coming. So be looking for those events. And then we'll be releasing our 2024 schedule in the next month or so. Lots of good stuff happening there. And so thank you so much for being engaged today. Look for your upcoming email. We're getting ready to move into the breakout sessions. We thank you to all that have supported Career Connectors in the past, and anyone that supports us in the future. We're so, so grateful. And so I just want to let you all know, if you're here today, thank you for engaging in the chat. Thank you for paying attention and being part of this discussion that can often be difficult. But it's so real and it's so needed. And so thank you to the companies that have been featured today. And I just want to say thank you, Denise, and the Best Companies AZ team for being part of this, and all of the companies that have spoken and featured their jobs. If you are looking for a job, you are in the right place today. And I encourage you to continue and engage in the breakout sessions. Just know that myself and our team, we are praying over you that you land into the career of your dreams. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to hand it over to Bree to talk us through the breakout sessions.